Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, I'm looking at some of the, obviously our videos are generated in part by the feedback that we get from our subscribers. I mean, that's meeting a need of people who are interested in us, and supplying some answers about what our viewpoint is. And let me stress that what is always offered is simply a viewpoint, and that's really what is sometimes missed. People don't accept that what they think is not necessarily the truth. So what I really wanted to talk about was the truth, the whole truth, and anything but the truth. Now, right now, we're being fed all kinds of information. All the time we're being fed information. And all of that information is a fact, scientifically a fact, is that all information, all data that comes in is contextual. It is in a certain context. So if you are talking about the stars, what context are you talking about? Are you talking about movie stars? Are you talking about the astronomical study of the heavens? Are you talking about good luck, which is in the stars? Are you talking about having your stars read? What's your horoscope? So every piece of information is in a certain context, and what usually leads to disagreements is a failure to get the context correct as to what the speaker is trying to say. Now, sometimes this can be the speaker's fault. I'm guilty of that. And sometimes it can be in the failure of the person to actually get the context. Now, you'll forgive me if I use an example which seems to be a really good one that I've used before. Supposing you've got two homeless guys and they've just managed to beg for enough money to buy a few beers while they're squatting on the sidewalk, right? So they're having a few beers and their world is quite full for that moment. So the subject turns between these two guys to cars, and one guy says, well, my own particular choice would be a Lamborghini. I just love the way the doors open. It's got a 7-litre engine, whatever that. Don't quote me on the 7-litre engine, okay? That's another context. And his friend said, no. Ferrari, that's the way to go. You wouldn't catch me dead in a Lamborghini. And a man that's passing is a successful businessman and can probably afford either a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. And he looks derisively at the two bums and he said, you are pathetic. If either of you was offered such a car, if either of you was offered any kind of car, you would very, very gladly accept it and sell it so that you could buy more beer to further addle your brains. And he walks off. And the two bums look at each other and go, now, who was right, who was wrong there? Well, there's no right or wrong, but the two bums had every right to talk about Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and the context was a dream. I dream of a Lamborghini. I'll have one other beer and then we'll have to go on the bum again, but I dream of a Lamborghini. And the other man says, no, I dream of a Ferrari. Are they wrong? No, because in the context of what they are discussing those cars with, that's the correct context for them, and they understand each other perfectly. They both know, if viewed from another context, the wealthy businessman that passed made a perfectly sensible, logical conclusion. He said, you would simply sell any car that you have in order to buy more beer. And probably these two guys would say, yeah, that would be the thing to do. So you can see how contexts mean everything. Because if you don't get the context of what's being talked about, you can't even take part in the conversation. So the thing about truth then comes into play about when viewed from a contextual viewpoint. So are we being given the truth? What's the context? Now, in the context of news, which we have been having a lot of lately, relating to a little known island in the Philippines, one of the smaller, less important islands called Bohol. And it might be in the news where you are, or it might not be. It just depends. If it's in the context of there was no other news worth looking at, then it might be on your screen. If not, if there were more important things that would be more attention-grabbing for the media, they would feature those things, and Bohol would be ignored as it usually is and should be. But we had a terrorist attack. Now, what's the truth of that? Well, we don't know exactly what the truth is until we are fed it by the media. Are the media going to tell us the truth? Well, will it suit them to tell us the truth? Will it suit them? I'm not sure that it will. Because if it's one of those things where... excuse me, I just have to kill my... Well, I didn't kill her, of course, but I told her off. And please, don't complain about me abusing my wife. Anyway, will you shut up? Where are we? We're talking about what is the truth. And we're talking about how conditioned we are to accept what we see given the context that it is presented to us in. And that can be a very, very twisted look at what's actually happening. Now, if a staunchly American owner of a piece of media is presenting news, will he present news which is detrimental to the American way of life? Probably not. If he's British, again, the same would apply. If he's German, it will have the same slant. Now, the way that everybody looks at all of this sometimes is in absolute acceptance of the way that it's presented, and then sometimes a more jaded look, and the more jaded look may be viewed as a conspiracy theorist. Oh yeah, conspiracy theorist. Yeah, he doesn't believe anything, and he'll say that there's a one world government and not this. So it's important to note that when we're being presented with other alternative truths, look at how it's being presented to us in order to be able to believe what we're looking at. Well, sometimes it's important to know who owns the media that we are being fed information from. Now, if it's, as in the case of one of the big channels in the Philippines, if it's the Catholic religion, are we really going to be fed the truth about anything that is even slightly critical about the Catholic religion? Am I a conspiracy theorist if I say I don't think so? So my view about the truth is only to say that if you believe that you are being fed the truth, look at the major people, when I say the major people in control of our lives, in control of whatever happens to us in terms of the law, making the law, enforcing the law, and also then the media of reporting the law, and how all of these things, the Constitution, the legalities, the judges, all of these things are influencing our lives. Do we accept everything that is being given to us? No, we don't. And how would we know? Well, look at the present situation that has been happening ever since the election of a new president in the Americas. In America, they've had a huge fight which continues to go along about who said what, who did what, who meant what, who reported what. And one thing that surfaces the most is the word lie. We're not being given the truth from any one of them. It seems now that what has for some people been the golden boy, President Obama, it seems like he is surrounded by lies. It seems like he has been investigating people. Do I know that this is true? No, I don't. I have to guess at these things because I don't believe that I'm being given the truth anyway. So I tend to look at things a little bit sideways and say, does that make sense to me? And that's what always surfaces. And it's so easy to go along with what you think is the easiest way to view the truth. And when you see, I remember saying to someone a few years ago, well, you know, what that man who is the president right now, that he knowingly allowed this to happen, allowed that to happen, and the person said, please, Terence, I believe in this country. Don't tell me that. I believe in this country. As if in revealing something that could be detrimental to the career of a person who is spouting lies is to be confused with the purity of the American people. It's not about the people. Most of the time, the lies are all about the leaders. And time again, no matter what the country, it seems like we always manage to elect someone who, given the right situation, will misrepresent the truth. And that, for me, seems to bring the title for this talk to light. It's the truth, the whole truth, but nothing, well, how can I say? No, that's my wife there. It's the truth, the whole truth, and anything but the truth. That's really what it is, not what it should be. Now, they've all got up at one time or another, all of them, and said, this is the truth, you can trust me. And then they've turned out to be the biggest liars. And they're all doing it. That's how it seems to me. And that's the truth. This is a foreigner in the Philippines.
Please like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Have a good day. God bless. Bye-bye.
Did you see my lips?